So I had this thought the other day. I recently got hit up by one of my homies at DJs asking me for record box help because he saw that I switched to playing on sticks for a lot of my gigs, and he's thinking about doing the same. And just picked up some CDJ 3000s, which is a huge purchase, but it got me to thinking. Probably the number one thing that has kept me in the DJ game as long as I have been full time isn't my DJ skills, it's my skill to help other people. I just saw DJ Cass from Miami post up about this, that being able to problem solve is one of the most important and most valuable skills you can have in this field, and I wholeheartedly agree. When I first moved to Vegas, I not only moved here to be an opening DJ, resident opener, but also to handle AV for the days that I wasn't DJing. And not only was it good experience to meet other DJs, but also it was great experience on problem solving, especially on the fly. If you've done events for a long enough time, you'll know that things can happen in the blink of an eye and you have to fix it as quickly as possible. There is nothing worse than dead air in the middle of a party. A second can feel like hours, et cetera, et cetera. So that was really part of the catalyst to why I started this YouTube channel, was running into so many DJs that didn't know how to troubleshoot certain issues. And for me, just being the tech geek that I was, came pretty naturally, or just I would know some workaround to get it working and, fix the situation on the spot. Funny story, we had an event at one of the venues that I was doing AV for, and I talked to the organizer of the event, and they said they wanted 2 turntables and whatever mixer. So I said, "Are you guys cool with a DJM 900 4-channel club standard mixer?" She said, "Okay, that's cool." Come to find out, the headliner that they booked didn't want to play on that mixer, and they said, "We need an S9, a Pioneer S9." And I was like, "All right, fine." So luckily, I had about 45 minutes to an hour to figure out how to make this switch out work. And okay, you could just kill the music and switch out the mixer real quick and get the party going again. But unfortunately, with the way we had everything set up, the mic went into the mixer that was plugged in, and we didn't have a separate mic channel, so it couldn't talk on the mic and couldn't fill time in any way. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather. So I had to figure out a way to run one channel, keep that playing, while switching out the other channel to the S9, and then flip the other channel while the 900 was still playing. Basically, daisy chaining multiple laptops and multiple mixers and switching off the channels one by one. Now, if I wasn't as familiar with the gear or how the gear and the software worked, I wouldn't have been able to come up with that solution. And thankfully, it all worked out. It was pretty hectic trying to get all those cable changes done, before the songs ran out. But we got it done, and at the end of the day, the person that put the party together was so thankful that it sounded so seamless. And to this day, that person will either hit me up for some pointers or some tech help, or they've sent other big name DJs my way to ask if they need help with something software or hardware related. And that brings me to my point about the one thing that I'll never stop doing is the one thing that has kept me here this long, and that's being as helpful as possible when it comes to DJing or just anything in general, right? My style of DJing, open format hip hop DJing, comes from a culture, well, you can even say just DJ culture in general, comes from a culture of, you could say gatekeeping, but you kind of protected, the things you knew and kept it close to the chest because it was your one up on everybody else, right? Comes from a battle culture, comes from a culture of, who can like dig the deepest and find the deepest cuts and et cetera, et cetera. There's so many examples of this when it comes to the DJ world. But as as technology shifted and as the access to music became, so much easier, for me, gatekeeping in those ways really doesn't make sense the way it might have 20, 30 years ago, right? It's so easy to get the same music as 90% of the DJs in the world. It's so easy to start learning how to DJ because you don't need to buy super expensive gear anymore. All you need is literally a smartphone and a $200 controller and you can start DJing. And with that in mind, trying to gatekeep certain things or like not being helpful in certain situations just doesn't make sense, at least to me. I was always taught and always believed that if you're part of an event, if you're part of a party and you've been selected to DJ and you're DJing with other people, throw the ego to the side when you're not playing and remember that the party should always come first, right? The party's success is your success. And if you're hindering that in any way, if you really think about it, you're only hurting yourself. So I try to do whatever I can to help a party that I'm a part of. And being, AV for a venue for a few years really taught me that, like, even if I wasn't DJing because I was AV and I was in charge of making sure everything worked, be as helpful as possible. And I've been in situations where the AV people aren't the nicest. If you ask them to change something out, they could just huff and puff and not be helpful. And because I was so helpful, I stood out. I had people like traveling DJs that have come played the venue that I AV'd for and be super thankful that I was always, right on the spot to help out and fix the situation or help come up with a solution to fix an issue that was happening. And it always boggled my mind, like, why not just help the party out? And this is my kind of call to all the DJs out there. If you're DJing a party or a club or a lounge or any situation, and you're DJing with multiple people and they need help with something that you know how to fix, just give them the help. That little bit of kindness almost always comes back tenfold one way or another, right? Either that person will remember that forever, or, other people that saw how helpful you are will remember that part of you and that part of your character. And especially now, in this day and age, with how easy it is to get started in this game, it could be the one thing that makes you stand out, and it can be the one thing that makes you more valuable than a lot of other DJs out there. I know that people have booked me not only because I know how to rock a party, but like, hey, if we run into any issues, P-Dot's got us. He'll know how to like at least come up with a workaround and make it happen and make it work, and we can fix it and keep the party going. And I wear that as a badge of honor, right? I know how to rock a party, but I also know that I'm a valuable part of whatever event I'm asked to be at, because if something happens, I can help fix the situation, help the night, just continue and go on. And at the end of the day, right, isn't that what we all want? We just want to play for a crowd that enjoys what we're doing, a crowd that enjoys the night and has good memories. And nothing will cut that shorter than an abrupt stop in the music or tech issues where they don't understand what's going on, but the people behind the booth probably have a better idea of it, And if you can lend a helping hand to make sure those issues get squashed before it becomes a real issue, you're only helping yourself along with your fellow coworkers in that situation. So this is my call, my plea to all the DJs out there. If there's one thing you never stop doing, or if you haven't started, be the most helpful in any situation while you're DJing. I promise you, it'll only help further your career. Well, that's it for this video. If you'd enjoyed this, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for more DJ related content, please be sure to click on one of the videos right here. And of course, catch you guys in the next one.